Hey everyone, I'm Kara, and today I wanted to share with you my favorite reading comprehension tip. There is nothing I've used in 29.5 years of teaching that has helped kids increase their ability to comprehend what they read independently than this tool. It's called readtheory.com. So let's get started. Let me shrink myself down here. So I'm Kara. You don't care that much about me. I get it. But this slide's here in case you want to have my Twitter handle or how to get a hold of me with email. I also have a website and several things I do. Currently, I teach at White Senior High School, alternative program in Wabash, Indiana. And we have about 80% online distance learning students and 20% that attend a classroom that I run as well. So I've kind of a dual role. And we have IP kids, intervention kids, but our kids are all struggling to be successful in regular school. So prior to that, I had 28 years in the same school corporation. So it's been a little bit weird for me, but that's what I'm doing now. So let's get to my tip. Okay, so this is super important, this bit.ly right here. If you want to write it down, take a picture of it. I'm going to pause here just for a moment so that you can get that written down, because that will give you a copy of this entire presentation, which actually has 3 tools in it that I love to use for reading comprehension intervention. So I don't have time to get into all the details in this little tidbit today, but I am going to let you have all of that if you follow that link. So give you about 10 more seconds to get that written down. I can go back at the end and give it again as well if somebody missed it. Okay, gonna move on. So, increasing comprehension, the best way I know to do it is readtheory.org. This is directly from the website. I love it. It says, accompany your students on a journey through our vast library of reading comprehension content. It's an adaptive approach that fosters improvement by automatically meeting students at their own individual ability levels. Sign up takes seconds, so does operating it. Really doesn't take long. You don't do the work, Read Theory does it. So this is a sample of what work would look like in Read Theory. And what I want you to notice about it is how really not difficult this is just to decode for 4th grade, but how difficult the actual question is. So I'm going to give you a moment just to read that. You don't need me to read it to you. Okay, so that is just to give you a little bit of insight into how rigorous the comprehension part of this program is. It is not a program that is going to increase reading decoding. It is all focusing on reading comprehension. I recommend using it for 3rd grade and up. The story content actually does go down to 1st grade level, but it's designed for somebody who needs remedial 1st grade level. So the first thing the kids do is when they log in, oops, so sorry, back up. The first thing the kids do when they log in is they take a pretest. And so after setting your classes up, your kids will log in. You can sync with Google Classroom if you choose to. They take a pretest. And so if they're in 4th grade, it will start them with a 4th grade story. And then depending on how they answer the question, it will give them more at 4th grade level. It might move them up to 5th grade. It might move them down to 3rd grade. And it's going to come up after 10 questions with what their difficult reading comprehension score is. So that's nice. I do think the grade level score is pretty accurate, just as long as you're ensuring that there's integrity when the student is taking the test. So it's something you want to give class time for them to do. You don't want to assign it for homework because you're going to want their best effort. After they do the pretest, then students, actually I'm going to make myself bigger here because I'm going to be talking for a little while. So after students do the pretest, then they have to do 1 story before they get their pretest score. After they complete 1 story's worth of work, Everybody can see their progress. Students can see it, you can see it, and it will tell their starting level. So say they're a fifth grader and they did the read theory pretest and one story, and it said that they were reading at fourth grade level. Then the very next story they're going to get is a fourth grade level story. And this is where some of the power to read theory comes in. So they will get one story with 10 questions. Sorry, it's not always 10 questions, sometimes 5. It can go up to 10 depending on the grade level of the story. So based on their score on that, read theory automatically assigns the next text. So if they get over a 70%, but not to a 90%. So from 70 to 89, then read theory is going to give them the exact same grade level text again. It could be fiction or nonfiction. It's random. You cannot set that as a teacher. So there's a good thing and a bad thing to not having to do a lot of work with read theory is that you don't have to go in there and assign everybody what to do, but you also cannot assign people what to do. So they get between 70 and 89, they're going to get the exact same level text again. If they get above an 89, so 90 or higher, they go on to the next grade level. If they get below a 70, they drop down a grade level. And read theory does all of that for you. You don't have to assign it. It's automatic. And so that saves you lots of time to do other things. So if kids use read theory with integrity, then it really is an amazing way to build a reading comprehension skill. So I'm going to show you some of the other, since this is just a quick 15-minute or less presentation, I am going to move on and scroll through some of this you can read on your own later. I did talk about the automatically assigning text. You don't have to do that, but you can scroll through all of that to see back on it at a later time. So this is some of the data you see. When they test in, they'll get this right here, their pretest, and it will give you a grade level and a Lexile. I'm just not a Lexile person, so I really don't know how accurate that is because I don't spend enough attention to Lexile. So this is showing that this person has taken 7 tests total and they have passed 6 of them. So 6 out of 7 passed. They started at a 3rd grade level when they tested in, and now on average, they're working on stories in the 4th grade level. So they have made progress. That's what this shows you. So 2 kind of fun things. There's knowledge points. They mean absolutely nothing in read theory, but some kids just love to see their knowledge point score grow. So they have it in there so that it has that sort of gaming feeling to the kids. And the decoder badge here, also badges are really not worth anything in the program. It's difficult to even understand. In fact, I've not been able to find exactly how do you know how much you do and then you get the next badge. So it's sort of random with some formula read theory has. So every once in a while, kids will get, you just up the level and you're at the decoder badge or whatever the next one is. And so they love that. You can, though, in your own classroom, assign awards for the points or every time they up a badge, however you want to do that. I've never had to. The program is self-motivating. Not that it's the most fun to do, but that if it's used with integrity and you go over the data with your students, they will be making progress, understanding how to make progress, and therefore give effort to it. My most experience with using this is with middle school intervention students in 7th and 8th grade. And so if you can motivate those kids to try to put effort in something, you know you've got a good tool. I used this program with my students for about 5 years, so I just really love it. So this is one piece of data. Another piece of data is you can see the date, the grade level, and the score for every story that your kids take. This will just keep on scrolling. The kids themselves can only see the last 3 stories they have taken. So why is this powerful? Because first of all, you get your scores, which is important to know. But this here, the date taken, allows you to be able to assign stories within a time frame and know that the kids did them. So I usually have something like kids need to pass 3 stories a week. And so I can tell, they go, oh, I did do 3. And I can pull this up and show them, well, you did 3 last week, but you haven't logged in this week or whatever. So that's helpful to be able to go back to. And then over here, we have a graph. So this person started at 3rd grade level when they took their pretest, didn't pass that story, so got below a 70, got a 2nd grade level, got below a 70, got a 1st grade level. stayed on first grade level for 3 tries before they finally bumped back up to second. They got between the 70 and 89, so they were given another second grade level, which they then scored a 90 or 100 on and went back up to third grade level. Back down to second, stayed once, down to first, back up to third again, and this time they stayed at third instead of drop down. So being able to talk about this progress in a line graph form is very helpful for kids as well. So these are just some of why I like it. Love it, actually. So it's no prep and entirely free. Who wouldn't love that? The question types do mimic the rigor of standardized tests, and so I think that is important. It's easy to read data. The data bank motivates students if you use it with them. The account follows the student as well. So if a student goes from 3rd to 4th grade and has a new teacher, or from 9th grade to 10th grade English, whatever you're doing, the student just has to invite the new teacher to see the data, and they don't have to start the entire program over. So that's a nice feature as well. And aha, I'm on 29 plus years now, but yes, it's truly true. I've never used a program in all of my time as an interventionist that works better than read theory to help kids become better at comprehending what they read. So some of my tips are to assign a certain number of stories to be passed each week, go over the data with students often, have students track their data and goal set. That goal setting tracking piece, so key to getting buy-in. Do take grades. Depending on your situation, if you use those points for rewards instead, you might not need to take grades. I would take grades on it to motivate my middle school student. And so I just gave 5 points for each story. If I said you had to do 3 at 5th grade level and pass them with a 70, then they would get 5 points for each one they did. Sometimes the goal is you need to do 2 at 5th and 1 at 6th because I'm trying to get them to put a little effort and bump back up, but they're always worth 5 points each if they meet the goal. Not killing their grade, but certainly can bump it up a little higher. And always I give students some time in class to work on it because that is key to getting the buy-in. If I don't think it's important enough to give some of my class time to, students are not going to think it's important enough either. So if you get the presentation, when you see this link pop up, you'll be able to see a sample data sheet of how I keep data for students and share it with them. I don't have time to go into that during this presentation, but you can get that if you get my presentation link, and you can go back to the beginning, watch it again, but I'm also going to try to put it up at the end if I remember when I get there. Okay, so that is in a nutshell about read theory. So this next slide is just going to take you so you can log into the program. Also on this slide presentation is Actively Learn, my favorite teaching comprehension website. So it allows kids to interact with text, annotate, that kind of thing, discuss, and it's a wonderful program too. Again, I don't have time to go through all of it. I'm going to quickly click through this. But you'll have all of this if you get my presentation. And then the last tool that I have on here is Classroom Inc. And I just want to take a moment to say that this is something that is fabulous for transition skills, for special education, for learning those employability skills that are so critical in school now, that the schools are being made to really focus on, do kids have what it takes to be employable when they get out of high school, starting at the lower grade level. This is a middle school and high school program. And you see there's 3 different sessions here. I have no idea why that's on. Oh, so sorry. There we go. We have 3 different sessions that we could participate in. We're either in a community center after a crisis, we are in a medical clinic, or we are in a newspaper room after a storm. So you work on all of these skills while you take on being an avatar. Again, I don't have time to share as much I want now, but you're welcome to get my presentation and see all the little good stuff that I have. So this was created with Slides Carnival, and I want to thank them for letting me do that. I'm going to go back to the beginning and show you the bit.ly again. So this is the bit.ly. If you missed, you want to get my presentation, and then you'll have all of this great information. And feel free to email me, reach out to me on Twitter. I'd love to connect, share ideas, and learn from each other. And thanks for tuning in to my webinar.